Hey, how's it going? Before we jump into the content, I just want to take a minute to thank you for stopping by the channel and checking out the content. If you like this content and you want to support more content like it, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. You can also check out the YouTube membership program and cybertrainingpro.com, where I put practice exams and other things that I couldn't put on YouTube. Again, regardless of how you support the channel and my content, I couldn't be more appreciative. Thank you so much, and let's get into the content. Welcome back to Policy Writing 101 for GRC professionals. In this module, we'll focus on aligning your organizational policies with industry standards. We'll cover how to map your policies to various frameworks, create domain-specific policies, and use established frameworks for policy guidance. By the end of this module, you'll understand how to leverage these standards to strengthen your organization's governance, risk, and compliance posture. Aligning policies with industry standards is a critical step in ensuring that your organization meets regulatory and best practice requirements. There's a lot of them out there, especially in cybersecurity, GRC, and all these different areas, so it's really important to align it. Now, this not only enhances your compliance, but it also provides a robust foundation for risk management and operational efficiency in your organization. We're going to start off by briefly reviewing some of the common standards that are used as benchmarks for policy development. Now, understanding these standards and aligning your policies with these standards is going to make sure that you have a comprehensive program and you're meeting the expectations of regulators, customers, and stakeholders. The first standard I want to cover is ISO 27001. Now, this is an international standard for information security management. It outlines best practices for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving something called an ISMS, or an Information Security Management System. Then we have SOC 2, which focuses on service organizations and their ability to protect data based on 5 principles: security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, and privacy. And then we have NIST. Now, NIST stands for the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which provides a framework for improving critical infrastructure cybersecurity and is widely used in both government and private sectors, but most commonly we recognize it as a government standard. And then we have GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation, and is a regulation in the European Union which focuses on data protection and privacy. Basically, it provides guidelines on how organizations should handle personal data and uphold data privacy rights. Mapping your policies to control objectives defined in these frameworks is an essential exercise. It helps you identify gaps and ensure that your policies are comprehensive and they cover all the necessary areas. So to do this, you would start by listing all the control objectives from the relevant standards. So you would go through and find all the controls, and you would say what they are actually saying. For example, ISO 27001 includes objectives like access control, asset management, and incident management. Then you would go through and you would find all your policies and see which ones map to those controls. If you find that a control objective isn't addressed by any of your policies, that's considered a gap and you need to address it. This image on the screen here is an example of how you might map controls in a spreadsheet, which is the most basic way that you can do it. Standards provide a valuable benchmark for policy development. They outline best practices and minimum requirements, ensuring that your policies are both effective and compliant. When developing or updating a policy, use the relevant standards as a checklist. For example, if you're writing an access control policy, you want to refer to ISO 27001 controls for user access management, NIST guidelines for access control mechanisms, and SOC 2 requirements for user authentication and authorization. This approach ensures that your policy not only addresses organizational needs, but also meets industry best practices. Okay, now let's explore how to create policies for specific domains like information security, compliance, and IT operations using these standards as a guide. Different domains require different policies. It's just that simple. Let's look at how you can create effective policies for key areas within your organization. Information security policies are critical for protecting your organization's data and assets. Key policies in this domain include things like access control, data classification, and incident response. An access control policy should define how users gain access to systems and data, who approves that access, and the controls that are in place to protect access, such as multi-factor authentication and role-based access controls. A data classification policy should outline how data is categorized based on its sensitivity and the controls required for each classification level. This is essential for ensuring that sensitive data is handled appropriately. An incident response policy should define how your organization is going to respond to security incidents, including roles and responsibilities, communication protocols, and steps for containment and recovery. Compliance policies, on the other hand, ensure that your organization adheres to legal and regulatory requirements. Key policies in this domain include things like privacy policies and regulatory compliance policies. A privacy policy should detail how personal data is collected, used, stored, and shared, ensuring compliance with regulations like GDPR or CCPA. A regulatory compliance policy should outline the organization's commitment to complying with industry-specific regulations, such as healthcare regulations for HIPAA or financial regulations for SOX. IT operations policies support the smooth functioning of technology and processes. Important policies in this domain include things like change management and business continuity. A change management policy should define how changes to IT systems and processes are planned, approved, implemented, and reviewed. This helps minimize disruptions and manage risk associated with changes. A business continuity policy should outline how the organization will continue operations in the event of a disruption. This includes identifying critical functions, assigning roles and responsibilities, and defining recovery procedures. Using established frameworks can further guide you in structuring your policies effectively. Let's talk about some common frameworks like COBIT, ITIL, and ISO 31000 and how they can help. So first of all, frameworks offer a blueprint for aligning policies with business objectives, managing risks, and ensuring compliance. Frameworks like COBIT, ITIL, and ISO 31000 provide structured approaches for policy development and management. COBIT, for example, focuses on aligning IT goals with business objectives and offers detailed guidance on governance and management practices. ITIL provides a framework for IT service management, which can guide the development of IT operations policies. ISO 31000, on the other hand, focuses on risk management. It provides principles and guidelines for creating a risk management framework, which can be integrated into your policy development process. While it's important to align policies with industry standards and frameworks, it's equally important to balance them with your organization's unique culture and risk tolerance. For example, a startup may have a higher risk tolerance and more flexible culture compared to a traditional financial institution. You have to tailor your policies to reflect this balance. Be realistic about what will work in your environment and what won't. You need to remember that the goal is to create policies that are not only compliant with standards, but they're also practical and enforceable within your organization. Striking the balance is key to a successful policy implementation. In the next module, we'll explore practical exercises and provide templates to help you apply what you've learned in this course. I'll see you there.